is create a financial wellness platform, right? And to have an ecosystem where people have a lot of products that help them have less financial stress and live better overall, right? Payflow, the first product we developed. We realized that if you only have Payflow, there could be misuse. There could be companies or there could be employees that just withdraw their salary. So when we had that behavior, we did two things, right? The first thing is that we provided safeguards, right? We told companies, hey, now you're going to be able to block usage to prevent usage that is too high, just to protect your employees, right? And that's why we introduced limits, right? So a lot of companies actually put limits around 30%, right? Typically because 70% of the salary goes into 3 basic necessities, which are basically transport, food, and rent, right? And 70% of your salary will go there, right? So we would rather not touch it. So that's why we recommend companies to put that as a first limit, right? That's to rehab it. But you can't just do limits. You have also to educate people, right? And this is why we created Learnflow, right? So Learnflow is a financial education platform. It's an e-learning platform. Think of it as a Coursera specifically for financial education. So what is the problem with financial education? The problem with financial education is that it's not easily accessible, right? So first, it's not given to everyone, right? If you don't have like a family that has given you like basic concept of finance and of how to manage your personal finances, you can't really learn it by yourself. You don't learn it at school. You don't learn it in high school. You don't learn it at university. You don't learn it anywhere, right? And if you still want to learn it, you're going to Google financial education, how to manage my personal finance, how to get better at managing my money. Well, guess what? You will land in websites of banks, of financial institutions, which in a sense are not really incentivized to give you right advice. They are more incentivized to give you advice that will help them sell more products, right? Well, if you have a problem in your money, you should get a short-term loan. No, I'm sorry, this is not what you should do. You should save money. That's what you should do. You should not get a short-term loan. That's not good, right? But if you're going on a bank website, that's what you will most likely find as a recommendation, how to manage your short-term money needs. So this is why we created Learnflow, to have content that is completely objective, right? It's completely neutral. We don't have an incentive in telling people to take a loan or take a credit card or just save. Our only incentive is to have people feel better in the company, because that's what the company pays us for, right? And so all the content in Learnflow has been curated and developed by ourselves, by our experts, right? Without any second agenda, right? And so this is why basically like Learnflow has been a very powerful product to balance the first product of Payflow, right? So it's thanks to Learnflow, people learn in a very gamified way. They see like a couple of classes about budget, about retirement, about saving, right? And they can do quizzes and they can learn in a fun way, right? And this is what Learnflow does. Once we had Pay and Learn, we realized that big need, especially in the younger population, younger employees, was to fix savings, right? Why do I say fix savings? Because fundamentally saving is not working, right? It's not working because the process associated is complicated, right? If you're a frontline worker and if you want to absolutely save, it's going to be difficult. You're going to have to go physically to a bank, like you go to your Santander, to your BBVA, and you will say, I want to open a saving account. They will say, sure. They will give you 8 pages. You need to flip through, read them, sign all of them, wait for a couple of weeks, and maybe you'll have a savings account if you didn't miss any of the information you were asked, right? And even though if you do that, even though if you put your $100 or equivalent in that account, in 1 year at best, you're gonna get what? $4, $5 of interest, right? What can you buy with that? 2 coffees, 3 coffees? It's broken. That's not how you should be saving. The way you should be saving is by understanding fundamentally how savings work. Right? And saving is all about dreams. It's all about goals, right? You don't save for saving. You save for goals, right? So if you say, hey, you know what, my goal is to buy a really nice present to my son for Christmas. Well, that's a goal. So you will be able to save towards that, right? Because the reality is if you don't have goals, you're just going to spend all your salary because that's what you've been doing all your life, right? So if you make $1,000 a month, at the end of the month, chances are that you will be left with $50 or less. If you make $950 a month, chances are that you're going to be left with $50 at the end of the month. You're not going to be left with zero. You're going to be left with more or less the same amount. So why don't you take $50 at the beginning if you made 1,000 and make it as if you were making 950? That's the whole idea of Saveflow, is that you take your money at the beginning, at the source, you put it in a piggy bank, you put it in a digital wallet that is protected, and then you basically continue your life, spend all your salary if you want to, and be left with $50. But those $50 that you saved at the beginning, they are there, and they're going to accumulate every month. And after 12 months, you're going to have $600, and you're going to buy a really nice present for your family, right? So that's how fundamentally savings should work, right? And that's why fundamentally we've done with Saveflow, right? So once we have pay, learn, and save, we were thinking that there is an interesting concept that is called flexible benefit. That has started with food, right? Like the ticket restaurants, right? When you go to a restaurant and the company is giving you those like paper meal vouchers, and you say, hey, I want to buy whatever, like a burger, and they tell you, oh, we accept those meal vouchers, and the company has given you these and you can pay with it, right? Well, that's Flexflow, but Flexflow is digital, right? So it's a card. It's very extremely simple. You go with it and basically you come and you go and tap it. And this actually has paid for your food directly using your salary, right? And it recognizes if it's food, recognizes if it's transport, or if it's kindergarten or anything like that, right? And it categorizes it, and you don't pay taxes, you don't pay income tax on that because you pay out of your gross salary and not out of your net salary. So we're launching this product in Europe, right? We've been live for a couple of months already.